Hello. It's time for another show. It's Friday night. We know how many people wait for us Friday night, at least a handful. And we appreciate all you guys that come on the show and give your comments and check stuff out and the people afterwards. We even appreciate Jago. That's how appreciative we are. We appreciate Jago for just being kind of a troll.
Jerky?
I mean,
A jerk?
but he
A
doesn't
Viking?
even watch. He doesn't even watch the show. He's just like,
No, he just comments.
every week. Oh, bro, you're crying in your beers because Aaron Rodgers. You don't have them anymore. And we're like, no,
We're happy they're not crying.
Have you watched?
We haven't been crying.
Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, careful now. Everybody's on the love train, Ben. Everybody's saying that Jordan Love going to be the man.
Number one topic of conversation today. That's what we got to start with. All of a sudden, everybody's saying how good he is. Like everybody.
Yeah.
Not just like one guy or two. It's like every national media.
He's going to be great. He's going to blow up right out of the gates.
I just find it ridiculous. I find it ridiculous. Because until last week, he sucked. And the Packers are, they're going to regret trading Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron blah, blah, blah. Now all of a sudden, Jordan Love is the greatest thing ever. It's like, listen, he's not the greatest thing ever. And the Packers aren't going to suck. It's in the middle. And we all know that. And the bottom line is they have more dangerous talent at the skill positions than they've had in years. But it's also dangerous to the Packers because you don't know what's going to happen. It could be a drop ball. It could be an errant throw.
Just
but it also could be
last week.
Right. It could be a perfect pass that goes for 60 yards and a touchdown. And all those things could possibly happen. And they're all going to happen. And they're also going to be just missing. And so it'll be a work in progress. And I think, like I said, I believe by halfway through the season or maybe week 8 or 7 or 6 or whatever, they're going to come together. And but the problem is by that time, then their schedule gets really tough. So will they win enough games to get into the playoffs? I don't know because they're in the easy part of the schedule. They have time to figure stuff out. And I think they can win some games then, but they could also lose games on tragic, stupid moves like a field goal kick missed or a bad pass or a drop ball at a certain time, which could be a problem. And when they need to win those games early because they've got an easy schedule, because then the hard schedule comes later on.
But Anders boomed a 52-yarder right down the pipe last week in the game part.
He's been missing them in practice. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's practice. Maybe he's Sean Clifford as a kicker. He's a gamer. He's going to stink it up in practice and then get to the game and boom it through. He's got lots of leg, which you got to like, right?
Yeah, sure.
Got to like the power. We haven't had power in a long time. Damn.
No.
Mason's so weak.
So those are all things to be excited about. I just find it hilarious that all of a sudden everybody's, Jordan loving it up. Loving on to love. A lot of love for the Packers quarterback, and it's kind of funny. But
was it like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, where that one guy's like, Jordan Love can't even play football, and I know he's kind of crazy, right?
That one idiot. Well, that guy's an idiot.
Yeah,
that guy's been an idiot his whole life. He's an attention whore, is what he is. He'll say anything just to get clicks and shit like that. Pardon my F and my S. I don't even know if I said F, but I thought an F. So does that count?
Probably.
But yeah, he's Adam Shine guy's an idiot. Always has been. So he can say whatever he wants. He's kind of like the Jim Rome. He's like Jim Rome.
Yeah.
Well,
I do think it's funny though that, it's not even after a few good signs because Jordan Love had some really nice plays in the last preseason game. The touchdown pass to Reed was awesome, right? He looked the guy off and then came back over and he wasn't that open, but he put it in there. Reed caught it, finished the play, like all that stuff. Good. And so I could see it. I could see, okay, he's looking pretty good.
But the big pass to Romeo Doubs was underthrown and kind of lucky.
Right. And how did it go from that within 1 week of, doing pretty good to now it's not even just like, oh, I think he's going to be pretty good. Some people saying that. He's going to be great. Watch out. He's going to blow him up. He's going to light the NFL on fire. He's not going to Patty Mahomes 50 touchdowns. That's not going to happen. So
I think it's because
chill out.
Because of the offenses in preseason so far, in the preseason games, the people that have watched all the games, which I have not, so I don't know. I've just heard this. They say that the offensive lines are so bad, like nobody's getting protection, so the quarterbacks aren't looking good, and they just, a lot of the other teams aren't looking good. And the Packers offense has been scoring points and looking good. So because of that, that's what they're seeing. They're seeing good passing. They're seeing time. I mean, on the big play to Romeo Dobbs, Luke Musgrave is getting the pass protection block on that big deep pass. On the touchdown pass to Jaden Reed, A.J. Dillon smothers the guy who trips and falls because Christian Watson doesn't get a very good block on him, and he gets through. And then A.J. Dillon just sits on him and gives Jordan Love plenty of time to throw the ball.
It's a good move.
Yeah, it's not just the offensive line that's doing good in pass protection. It's also Musgrave and Dillon and Aaron Jones and all these running backs. And a lot of play action plays, a lot of rollouts, which sometimes work and sometimes don't work. And those are things that, as Packer fans, we need to look at. Like, one of the passes was on a rollout play. Luke Musgrave was more concerned about getting out into his route instead of making sure that defensive end gets blocked for at least a second. And because of that, Jordan Love had a guy in his face, and then that was one where he kind of just drilled it at Musgrave, and it was incomplete or somebody like that. I can't remember what it was, but it was something like that. But Musgrave should have been the fourth option. And the other thing is, it's supposed to be a sneak attack option. But when you don't get your block, then there's that backside linebacker sees you sneaking out, and he's there to cover you. If you stay and block for a second, number one, it gives Jordan Love more time. Number two, that backside linebacker ignores you because you're blocking.
He takes his eyes off you, right?
And he's looking more to the quarterback instead of to you. And then as he's moving and looking at, because there's also another tight end going across the field there, and the wide receiver going deep across the field there. So there's already two options for that backside linebacker to look at and see what's going on. But when you don't get that initial block, that backside linebacker, and then you sneak out right away, the backside linebacker sees you, and then that's why he was covered. So it's little things like that a rookie tight end is going to have to learn. You have to get that block. You are the fourth option on the play in the receiving game. You are the most important option when it comes to protecting the quarterback so he can get that play off. Because if you don't get the block on a rollout like that, you see what happens. The defender is right in Jordan Love's face, and he has no choice but to drill it at somebody and just get an incomplete pass. He probably just should have just threw it into the dirt or into the guy's feet or whatever. But he was trying to do something with it. But it was just, that's another option of, okay, so Musgrave did a great job on the pass protection for the Romeo Dobbs deep pass, but terrible job on that play. And it wasn't the first time. There are other times where guys are doing that too. So it wasn't just Musgrave, but these guys have to learn. Like, actually, it was the first play of DeGuara. DeGuara didn't get a very good, the first play. He didn't get a good seal block. He missed his block, and then Love had to just chuck it at him, and it was a big mess because he didn't get the block, right? And so, these guys got to do a better job of getting the initial block if they're going to do these play action plays. Because the Patriots defense was way smart. Like, when you watch, because I don't get the All-22 on what I have because they don't show. I don't get that until the regular season starts. But I've seen some videos on YouTube where guys did have the All-22, and you see the Patriots defense, and they don't fall for anything. Like, they're smart. They like, this was a good test for the Packers. I think that's the other problem, or the other thing about this too. Jordan Love looked good, and when you watch the All-22, you see the defense he played against was smart, disciplined, and good. And he still was able to move the ball on him. And I think that's what people are talking about. They're like, whoa, like, he looked good. The Packers offense looked good against a number one defense for, because last week in Cincinnati, there wasn't a number one defense. Right. It was like one guy at safety who was, with the starting team. This was the starting Patriots defense, and the Packers moved the ball on him and scored a touchdown on him. And if you take away that first snafu with the snap, they had a pretty good day, I thought.
We gotta do something about those snafus with the snap. Anyway, hey, okay, well, we'll talk about that. David's here. William G was here earlier. How you doing? Appreciate you guys. Look, there was one other big bit of news this week in the NFL. Did you hear it? Anybody hear it? All right, I'm going to give it to you. It was reported. Tevin Jenkins, starting lineman for the Chicago Bears, is injured for a while. He's going to be out potentially 4 weeks. The Packers play the Bears in a couple of weeks, which means my guy LP is probably going to be lining up against the Packers in week 1, which I'm pretty excited about.
Well, that's bad news for us because Kenny Clark can't get past Lucas.
We'll see.
And Devontae Wyatt, apparently on the hot day on practice,
he threw up and he couldn't do it.
Well, we saw that in the practice we were at, where he barely survived on a nice day. He had to take a knee. That guy's got some serious conditioning issues he needs to figure out.
I know. That was bad.
For a guy with as much talent as he has, he seriously is not a professional at this point.
And he played Georgia before. It's hot as hell in Georgia, right?
I know.
It's the South. It's by David. It's hot as hell down there. How can he not handle a little bit of heat and humidity up here?
Yeah.
Weird.
I don't know.
But yeah, he was out like right away. He on the hot day, Matt LaFleur, they talked about it this week. The first hot day, really, and it was nasty, don't get me wrong. He made him practice, pushed through some of the heat, and Devontae Wyatt couldn't handle it and was like throwing up and on the sideline and all this sort of stuff. Not good. Not a good sign. He's got to be able to, like you said, he's got to be able to play. He's going to get the ops. He's got to, well, maybe not now because Colby Wooden and Carl Brooks are coming for snaps. They want some snaps too.
And Jonathan Ford. I thought he looks pretty good. So should we get into, what we're doing tonight is the 53/54 man roster. Because I don't know if the Packers get a bonus slot for that guy from Africa.
Yeah. That's right.
So awesome. He gets to be on the roster no matter what.
That sounds good. I like him.
So he won't be on the active 48 active man roster, but he'll be on the 53+1 roster, which is why I have 53+1 underneath my name. Because you count that guy. I can't remember exactly what his name is, but I'm sure you can bring up I don't know if you have the Packers like depth chart or something you can bring up or whatever so we can see all the names and crap. But I have it all written down, what I have picked out, and I only have 4 corners. I don't know what I'm doing. That's not going to happen. So
that's
we're gonna
all
have
the
to
Packers want to keep.
So that's why I need your help to work with me on this because I screwed something up with my 53-man roster that I created today because I was like, whoa.
It's going to be official, I think. We'll see what we got. Oh, my goodness.
It's not official because
we can sort it by position at least, which is something here, something. I was hey, I'm old enough. I was going with the guide, the handy training camp guide that we get when you go to practice. But they put this damn thing in numerical order, so it doesn't do you a damn bit of good with all these guys like linebackers with single-digit numbers and safeties up high, and you got guys all over the place. So you can't even group them on here. This is worth. You see this? Just get rid of that. Worthless.
Yeah, get rid of it. It's dumb.
Anyway, except there's a nice write-up about Mark Murphy in there. You can learn more about Mark Murphy if you want to.
Don't want to.
All right, let's take a look at some stuff. Look at some Packer rosters. Find out who's going to be on the. Actually, I'm going to pick up that paper. I got to write it down in here. So you go ahead, take over.
Okay. Well, when I did my list, I have 21 offensive players that I consider to be locks at this point. Okay. So that's 21. Okay, stop with the Kenny Clark stuff. That's 21 players that are on the team. Period. And on offense. Okay, and these are the guys I have: quarterback Love and Collins, halfback Jones, Dillon, or running back, whatever. Tight end / fullback Musgrave, Kraft, DeGuara. Guard / center.
Hold on.
What?
Andy Herman just did a show today saying, Josiah DeGuara, he's been so bad, he might be cut.
Josiah DeGuara has been mentioned by Matt LaFleur on multiple occasions as being a veteran on the team, one of the leaders on the team. He will not be cut.
I know.
So I don't know what Andy Herman's smoking, and I know he hates DeGuara, but he will be on the team, period.
All right.
So far that's only 7 guys. Guard center, I have Jenkins, Runyon, Myers, and Sean Ryan, and that's it.
Wait a minute. Is this who we're keeping or who the Packers are keeping?
This is the Packers are keeping.
Oh, okay. All right. Now I get it. Okay.
And these are the locks. Like I have 21 offensive players that I believe will be on the team no matter what.
21 locks.
Right. And then at tackle, I got Bakhtiari, Zach Tom, Rasheed Walker, Yash, and Luke Tenuta. Okay. These are guys I know are going to make the team.
Okay.
Wide receiver, I only have 5. What?
You said Yash. He's another one that's probably out, according to Andy Herman.
No.
Rasheed Walker
they can't trade him
Caleb
or cut him.
Jones is doing so great.
They can't trade him or cut. He will be the backup to the backup. Like Rasheed Walker has passed him. There's no doubts.
But they're paying him $4.3 million. They're just going to.
They paid David Bakhtiari a crap ton of money to do nothing for years. It's no big deal. Okay. We've done it before. Right.
I wouldn't call Yash.
They traded Zadarius Smith $11 million to play for the Vikings last year. It's nothing new.
I would not call Yash a lock. That's all.
He's a lock. He's a lock because of Bakhtiari's health. We don't know.
I do think DeGuara's a lock, though, but I don't think Yash is a lock.
If Bakhtiari can't play, and then all of a sudden Zach Tom gets hurt, guess what? Rasheed Walker and Yash are starting to tackle.
There's a question.
He's a lock.
There was a question. Do you trust Yash or Josh? Josh or Yash? Which Ash do you trust more that you would like to see in the starting lineup?
Neither.
Neither.
I would rather see Rasheed Walker at right tackle, Zach Tom at center, which is what they started with yesterday at practice, by the way.
Okay, go ahead.
So that's pretty good. But I believe Yash will make the team and not be traded or cut because of Bakhtiari's health. And because Zach Tompkins can slide into the middle. And I only have 4 guards/centers as locks to make the team at this point. Now, at wide receiver, I have 5 locks. I got Watson, Dobbs, Reed, Toure, and Heath.
Nope.
But not in that order. I believe Heath is better than Toure, and he would be the number 4 receiver.
Is out.
No, he's not out.
He's out.
He's not out. Your guy, Bo Melton's out.
Well, I know Bo Melton's out. That. They're hiding him now. They don't let him show anything so they can get him on the practice squad.
Well, he's injured, so he'll be on the practice squad again.
Toure, I disagree. Toure is not.
Toure will make the team because that's all. Matt LaFleur talks about Toure without even being prompted constantly. He will make the team. He just like DeGuara will make the team.
Boy,
they will be on the team for the same reason why Emmanuel Wilson will probably not be on the team. Because they're stupid. Now, I have him as one of my guys who's going to be like a sneak attack, keep him on the team, but he never makes the active roster. Because Matt LaFleur always, every time someone brings him up, he just brings up all the things he can't do. How he's out of shape, he can't pass protect, he doesn't play special teams. That's all he ever talks about. He doesn't talk about how good he is.
They're trying to hold him down in the public eye so then they can
get
him on the practice
squad.
Don't
bring him back
to the
active roster, he will be on a team because he's too damn good. There are other teams that have no good running backs, like the Vikings.
Well, I agree with that. 100%.
So what I'm saying is I've got 21 players that are locks on offense, okay?
All right.
I've got players that are locks on defense. Here we go. All
right. Who do you got?
Kenny Clark, TJ Slayton. I know, but he's going to be a lock on the defense. TJ Slayton, Devontae Wyatt, Wooden, Brooks, and Jonathan Ford. I have 6 defensive tackles. And that's why I only have 9 offensive linemen, is because we can use some of these big guys for our protection on special teams and so forth. Because I think Jonathan Ford, I love Brooks and I love Wooden and I love Devontae Wyatt, but I don't think any of those 3 are good enough to play on goal line defense at this point.
Jonathan Ford is 6'5", 338. He's a big man.
So the goal line defense should be Kenny Clark, TJ Slayton, and Jonathan Ford as your 3 guys on the goal line defense, and he will make the active roster, and it will be one of the 48 active players, right? And I think he'll be one of the guys. So I think it's going to be 6 D tackles / defensive ends with those 6 guys, locks. Period. Because Jonathan Ford he's played too well to not make it. Now I also think Chris Slayton's good, but they never freaking play him, and he's going to get screwed. So he's screwed. But it's not his fault. It's just the ways of the world.
So one quick thing. It's a good point there, but I just want to give a little perspective. Everybody talks about how big TJ Slayton is, right? Well, he's listed as 6'4", 330. Jonathan Ford is 6'5", 338. I mean, he's a big dude, right? Yeah. And he's the only other big guy.
And he's quick.
There. Yeah.
Though he guesses, and sometimes like Jordan Love, when he gets guys off sides of practice, it's like Jonathan Ford half the time.
Yeah, well, I guess too sometimes. I mean, you got to guess sometimes. You got to go for it.
Right. Okay. So other also locks, outside linebacker, Gary Preston, Inabare, Van Ness, and I also have Hollins as a lock because I think he's just too valuable. Yeah, he's too good.
Well, I like him too, but I don't know if he's a lock.
I think he's a lock. Okay. Inside linebacker, Walker, Campbell, McDuffie, and Wilson as a lock because of his special teams play.
Wow. Wait,
special teams again? Walker, Campbell, McDuffie, Wilson.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So at this point, I've got 6, 10. I got 15 guys already. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I got 22 locks on defense.
Whew. 22 locks.
Actually, more than that. 22, 24 locks on defense. Yikes.
Because
I got Savage, Ford, Rudy Ford, Johnson Jr. at safety. That's it.
Why do you have
Johnson
Savage
Jr. Because he's under contract for the next 4 years, so it'd be dumb not to have him. He's the only guy under contract past this season, so he will make the team.
Cheap AF.
Yeah, he'll make the team. Rudy Ford is now getting the starts, which is what we told you all 6 months ago, we said Rudy Ford's going to start. And then, of course, they tried everybody else under the sun, and we told them, just Rudy Ford is good. Please start him. And now, of course, they're starting him. It took the Packers way too long and the fans to realize that Rudy Ford's good. But whatever. And then at corner, I just got Jair, Rasul, Nixon, and Valentine as locks. And Stokes is going to be on IR, so it doesn't matter. And then specialists, I got Carson, Whelan over O'Donnell because of the youth movement. But I have Orzek at long snapper because apparently he's done a better job at long snapper. I don't know. I haven't really seen any of that stuff, but that's just what I hear from practice guys.
Yeah.
And then I got Dallin Levitt and Carpenter both making the team as specialists as well.
Dallin Levitt? Yeah. No, I disagree. Okay, let's talk about Tariq Carpenter here. He was out, injured, blah, blah, blah. Came back. He looked terrible in that preseason.
He does look terrible, but it's not his job.
On defense.
Listen, the 48 players, I have 5 guys, Carson, Whelan, Orzek, Levitt, and Carpenter, who are specialists out of the 48 active roster. That's 5 guys. That still leaves.
Where they have no other really good use.
Right. But they'll be on every single special teams snap.
All right.
Along with Josiah DeGuara, who will be at every single special team snap. Okay?
All right. Fine.
The problem is, when I did all this, for the active roster, I've only got 3 tight ends.
Cool.
I didn't put Austin Allen in there, and I think he should make the team. But
Austin
I don't
Allen,
know what to do with him.
I think he's got to make it.
I also only have 5 wide receivers.
No,
which I know
everybody's talking. They're going to take 7. They're going to keep 7 wide receivers.
That's the other thing. There's 5 spots at 49, 50, 51, and 52, and 53. Those 5 spots are players that'll sneak onto the roster. They will never make the active game day roster at 48. They'll just be there to make sure other people don't get them. And those guys, I have Brenton Cox, Emmanuel Wilson, Caleb Jones, Wicks, and DeBose. So those 5 guys have no business. They have no business playing an active roster spot on the team because they don't. Their value is not there. Like Emmanuel Wilson is awesome running back. Is he going to play over Jones or Dillon? No, but he can make the 53-man roster and sit like Jonathan Ford did last year and never play. But he was on the active roster, right? Because they have 5 spots that never make the active roster on game day. So because of that, though, there's 5 spots there that you can take up spots with guys and not lose them to other teams. I think Brenton Cox is a guy who's proven some things. The one thing I would say about him is he's got a little bit of Zadarius Smith in him at times. He's better. He's aware. He can get up and he gets his hand on balls. Like he knows where the ball is. But sometimes he does go hardcore on just beating the guy in front of him to get to the quarterback and misses on running plays. I've seen that a couple times.
Got to get that quarterback.
Yeah.
Get that quarterback.
But when he's on his rush move, he is aware of where the ball is, so he can jump up, knock the ball down, or do whatever. And then, like I said, Emmanuel Wilson is just too awesome. He's got to make the 53. He'll just never be active. Caleb Jones, he's like the new Yash, where they're trying to make him into something. I don't know. I personally don't see it. Everybody keeps saying how he's just this monster in all the, and I'm not seeing it, but whatever.
He's huge, but he doesn't. I mean, he seems pretty passive. It's not like he's like really bulldozing, mauling guys, which at his size he could, but he doesn't seem to have the demeanor to be able to do that, or the technique to bend low enough to be able to do that. So I don't see it either. I don't know. I mean, it's nice to have a really humongous guy. But if he's not that great at football, like it's not that nice, to be honest.
And then
that used to be the old trick. Hold on, that used to be the old trick. I know you want to finish the show, but it used to be the old trick, right? When you had like some of the really big guys, or in high school, if you had like some 300-pounders or whatever, those are the first guys. If you wanted to intimidate the other team, like you sent those guys out first off the bus, or like closest to the other team when they were running on the field, so they'd see the really big guys and stuff. But halftime, those guys didn't even play because they were just big guys that weren't really that good at football. But anyway, that's the old trick. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's true. And then, like I said, Wicks and DeBoe was at wide receiver. So it would be 7 receivers would make the 53-man roster, but only 5 would make the 48 active with Torrey, Heath, Reed, Dobbs, and Watson.
Okay.
I love Heath. Can we talk about him? I love this guy.
Let's talk about him. I was going to do one comparison with him because did you listen to his interview?
Yeah.
You can't understand the damn thing. So
no.
You can't really understand anything he says. So really what I wanted to do was like a side by side. No, I wanted to like play. Do you remember from Oh man, my brain. Okay, from the Water Boy, right? Remember? Farmer Fran or whatever the hell. I was gonna play him, and then I was gonna. And maybe we'll do a game coming up on one of the shows when we're bored, and we'll have a split. We'll have a little segment where we play a clip, and we'll say, "Is this Malik Heath or is this Farmer Fran from the Water Boy?" And you can guess, and we'll try to get you.
I think
because that's what I thought.
We'll get it right every time.
Oh God, you gotta make a huge. Gotta make him see it now. I mean, his interview, like, I could barely understand what the hell he was saying.
I didn't know what he was saying. I didn't know what he was saying either. But he seemed happy.
But he played awesome, and he was happy. He's awesome. I love him.
What I like about him is I think he's got the best hands on the team. Apparently,
hands?
from what I hear, he hasn't dropped anything. He doesn't drop stuff in practice. He hasn't dropped the ball in game yet. He's great at contested balls. So that's two things. He's already better than Alan Lazard. He has better hands than Alan Lazard.
True. Better
contested catcher than Alan Lazard. He's faster than Alan Lazard. Runs better routes than Alan Lazard. And blocks just as good, if not better, than Alan Lazard in the running game. So he's the new Alan Lazard, except upgrade, and he's not as tall. So he's not 6'5" like Alan Lazard. He's 6'2", but he's 218 pounds, which means he's solid and muscular for a wide receiver at 6'2". And he's able to do all the stuff Alan Lazard could do, except better. And the Packers just don't have a guy like that on their team. Like Christian Watson is speed. He can block a little bit, but he's speed. Don't know about the hands. Dobbs sometimes loses the ball in the air. There's been a couple times where he doesn't know, and he's back and forth, and he doesn't know where it is, and doesn't know how to read the ball in the air sometimes. Reed's had a couple drops in practice. People have mentioned, though I really like his after the catch. When he catches the ball, then he goes. Ooh, way, 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 way better than anything we've seen in a long time. So all four of those guys, Watson, Dobbs, Reed, and Heath, are steps above anything we've had prior to last season with, Devontae Adams and Randall Cobb and Amari Toure and, not Amari Toure, Amari Rogers. Those guys, not much to be telling your mom about at home. But these guys, really good. Watson, Dobbs, Reed. Heath, awesome.
I mean, I like Heath.
Super excited.
I'm just looking, like, how did he end up being a free agent? And this is probably it, right? It's his 40 time.
It's slow.
But why is he open all the time then? He's open all the time.
Well, sometimes he's not. Sometimes he's not open, and they just throw him the ball. But
he's good at he does the in cuts, and he's not. I think one of the other things, being a bigger receiver and stronger like he is he just goes for him. Like, there's no hesitation. Like, some guys, you can see them coming out of their break and they're a little hesitant. They don't kind of want to get into that traffic over the middle sometimes. And this Packers offense, the way it's originally designed, and have heard things recently too, people talking about using the middle of the field, which Aaron Rodgers never did. This Packers offense, the way that a lot of the plays are, there's pass patterns that go over the middle of the field. Either they're crossing the field or they're in-cut routes. It's not the sideline, drop it in the bucket, go out of bounds kind of stuff that we've seen for years and years and years with Aaron Rodgers, the other quarterback. So you got to have guys that are willing to do that too. And this guy is. Like, he does not hesitate. He doesn't slow down. He's going for it. And he wants that ball, and he's going to catch it, like you said. So he's definitely on the team. Like, anybody that's saying, like, well, he could make it, or he's on the team. There's no way he's not on the team. And not only is he not on the team, he's got to play. Like, he should be on the field. He should be on the team, and he should be on the field.
Yes, he should have a very good, important role on this team. Like, in running downs, on any action play, he'd be perfect. Any red zone, because he's so big and he can block. He's not even that big. I don't know. Like, it just showed that he only did 12 bench reps, so he's not like super strong that way, but he seems to be blocking guys out of bounds and doing all kinds of crazy stuff and busting his butt and catching contested passes. That'd be perfect for the red zone.
Might be just a football player, Ben.
I know. And Matt LaFleur asked him about tight ends, and he said, well, we got so many good receivers, maybe we keep one less tight end than we normally would, and we could change based on what our skills are at, are the best players we have on the team. So Heath's making the team.
Now, one
LaFleur
of the ways
said it, period.
One of the ways they've done this in the past, right, is by only keeping 2 running backs. You think they're going to do that again?
Yeah. I just said, well, no, 2. I'm telling you, they are going, if they're smart, They will keep Emmanuel Wilson on the 53, but he will be an inactive player all year long. And they'll do the same thing that they did last year. They'll sneak somebody back. Lou Nichols, sorry, injury settlement or goodbye. He was not good. He can't catch the ball out of the backfield. He was a bad pick in the 5th round. But what it is they'll do the same thing they did last year, where they have Patrick Taylor and anybody else who could still hang around, put him on the practice squad and bring him up through the active roster 3 times. And then by about halfway through the year, there'll be enough injuries that guess what? Patrick Taylor is going to be on the 53-man roster, and then he's an active, and he'll be a special teams player all year long. But for the initial 53, Patrick Taylor will not make it. He'll be on the practice squad, and they'll bring him up a couple games or whatever it is, and that sort of thing. And he will not play running back ever unless it's a blowout, and then he'll get in there because they don't want to get Jones or Dillon hurt. Period. But that's it. But he'll always be in the active roster on game day, even though he won't be on the 53 for the start of the year. But then once injuries happen, he'll eventually get on there. My question to you is this: I only have 9 offensive linemen making the team, and last year I take that back. It's 10 because I have Caleb Jones on there.
I didn't hear Royce on there.
No, I have Royce gone.
Royce is gone.
We can't do it anymore. Because
against the Patriots, he actually played probably the best I've ever seen him play.
Are you kidding me? I saw him get his ass kicked. He got shoved backwards 5 yards.
That's normal, but I'm just saying.
That's not good?
He actually I'm just saying he actually had quite a few plays. I would say more than half of the plays where he didn't totally suck. So to me, that's better than he's ever played in his life. So if they've kept him all these other years, they might keep him again. So anyway, don't be surprised if somehow Royce is still on the team. I'm just saying, even though
I wouldn't be surprised by it. I'm just saying I don't see him keeping more than 10 this time because of all the receivers that are there and because of the defensive linemen that I think they have too much talent defensive line to let these guys go.
I agree with that. And
I think there's and they can make those guys could take up spots on on field goal units, right? Now we saw how that was a problem a couple of years back when they'd have Tyler Lancaster and Dean Lowry out there and protection on field goals, which was bad news. But maybe these guys will be better than that. But I don't know. But I'm just saying, I have 6 defensive linemen here. When you add that to 9 or 10, that offensive lineman, that's 16 guys already out of the 48 active players, 53 roster spots. That's a lot of big dudes. And there's no way they're going to have 13 offensive linemen again. And I don't know why they would do it. I just don't see Royce as a hit. They've already let go of Hansen. So that's that. They've tried Zach Tom, Runyon, and Jenkins all at center behind Myers. And even Sean Ryan at center. So they don't need to have a backup center because they've got guys who can play it. And they're all better than the guy who's starting. So there's no need for a backup center.
Sean Ryan's making it?
Oh, yeah, he's making it.
He's making it. Okay.
He's a 3rd-round pick in his 2nd year. He's making it.
I know. But okay. And he's a lot better than last year. And he was on the active roster last year?
Yeah, he did. Well, he was
not the active roster, but he was on
He was one of the guys who never got onto the 48. He was the 53. He was a sneak attack, sit on the bench and do nothing all year guy.
Terrible last year. He's better this year. I'll give him that. Okay.
So what I'm saying is, though, when I look at my list I came up with, the part that scares me is I've only got 3 safeties and only 4 corners. Well, I got Dallin Levitt. He's technically a safety.
You didn't put Valentine in there?
I did put Valentine on there. Stokes is going to be on IR.
Oh yeah. Well, he'll be.
They'll probably cut Carpenter or somebody, or I don't know, or Wilson or what are these guys? Put Stokes on the active roster, then put Stokes on IR, and then bring Wilson or Hollins or somebody back on the team.
They might.
I would guess.
They might also keep Valentine.
They probably will because he's a special teams guy. So
initially,
but then they're going to lose somebody somewhere.
You're saying Jonathan Owens not in there?
Nah, he's gone.
He's out.
And Moore's hurt, so I don't know if they're going to keep him. Innis Gaines is kind of a half safety, half corner, so I think he might be a good keep. But then we're way past 53 at this point. Like I was trying to put this roster together today, and I'm just like, dang, like I don't know what. Like I know what I would do. I don't know what the Packers are going to do. What would I do?
Yeah,
I wouldn't keep Wicks or DuBose.
What?
Bye. Why?
You
'cause
got to keep
drafted
them. Yeah, you drafted them, and they have
No.
some talent. You got to
Put
keep
him on
them.
practice squad. Put him on a practice squad. I also would
Someone
keep
else
Caleb
might
Jones.
pluck them. Someone might pluck.
I would let Caleb Jones go too. Bye.
Caleb Jones. No one's Let's look at it that way. Okay, no one's. If you can cut Caleb Jones, no one else is gonna grab him.
Nobody.
You can cut any
I think
running
you can cut
back
Wicks or DeBose, and nobody's in it. Emmanuel Wilson, though, you'll lose him.
You can cut any running back except Emmanuel Wilson, and no one will touch him. Like
Right.
there is zero value in keeping Patrick Taylor on the 53 roster because no one's gonna touch him.
No one's going to touch him. It's dumb.
No,
it'd be dumb to keep him on.
Absolutely. And then in terms of like the safeties, I mean, just cut Darnell Savage. No one's gonna touch it. I mean,
the problem is they could cut him, and it wouldn't save much money this year because they restructured his contract, and actually it wouldn't save him any money because, it would save him a little because they pushed $5 million out of his $7 million into next season by signing him to like an extension, that one of those fake extensions that don't really exist, that phantom year or ghost year or whatever.
Yeah.
So if they cut him, then that ghost year half of that has to come onto the salary cap this year, and half it goes on the next year. So they would save no money. They'd actually lose money by cutting him because right now he's like $2 million on the cap. But if they cut him, then half of that $5 million comes on. So it would cost them $2.5 million salary cap by cutting Darnell Savage or trading him, by the way. So now they can't trade him or cut him after they did that deal to lower his cap hit. Because if they didn't do that, he'd be $7 million on the cap right now. But if they just traded him, that whole money would be off the books and go to the other team. Or if they cut him, that whole money would be off the books and go to the other team. But because they re-signed him and restructured his fifth-year option and guaranteed the money on the next year's ghost thing, they can't trade him or cut him now. So he's on the team.
I don't like
it. It's dumb.
Whatever.
It's saved. It's. I understand why they did it was to save money on the salary cap this season.
Yeah,
but it was still dumb because now you pigeonholed yourself into never being able to trade the guy even when he stinks. Like we got rid of HaHa halfway through the year because he sucked, right? Yeah. Well, we could maybe there's some team who would be willing to do that in week 8 this year, but now we can't trade Savage because we don't have the salary cap space to even trade him and still take the hit from the ghost years from next year. So he'll be on the team all year.
David brings this question up because you're talking about the offensive lineman. Why is this team considering trading an offensive lineman? Because that's something Andy was exploring again, talking about trading Yash. And, mostly because of Rasheed Walker elevating. And I guess Caleb Jones is elevated. Has he elevated? I don't know.
I don't see it.
But,
I just don't see
you
it.
had Tenuta's hurt. You had the injury to Tenuta. I mean, the offensive line, I agree with you. They're definitely not going to keep as many. I think if Tenuta didn't get hurt, and if Jake Hansen didn't get hurt, and some of these other guys didn't get hurt, that made it easier for them. They probably would have effed it up and like saved one or two too many offensive linemen again, and cut somebody else that was good.
Well, I had Tenuta making the team if he's back to being healthy again.
I know, but
they kept him on the roster last year after they picked him off a practice squad so that they could. Nobody else would pick him up. So they think highly of Luke Tenuta.
They like him. All right. Yeah, Caleb Jones, I don't think anybody's touching him, so you can let him go. I agree. Josh Myers, you can let him. I mean,
who's 77 again? Is that the big guy we saw?
That's Telford.
Yeah.
Or Telfort, excuse me. Kadeem Telford. He's 6'7", 322. He's rookie out of UAB. So he's a rookie. He's been kind of
He'll be a practice squad guy, I think.
Yeah, right. Because
unless they think he's a Caleb Jones.
But he's an undrafted free agent. They probably feel safe, If the guy was undrafted and you haven't seen him just like pop out in camp or in the preseason games, no one's going to grab him, It's fine. Even though I guess I'm a little, I'm concerned about how you're saying how the offensive line play is so bad around the league. So then maybe the Packers get in their own heads and they're like, "Oh, well, everybody says their offensive lines are so bad. I mean, maybe we should keep these guys and or maybe they'll try to trade him then. Maybe that does entice them to try to trade
I think
Yash or something.
Yash should probably be traded, but I don't think they'll do it.
He should.
And the reason why he should be traded is because he's only under contract for 1 year.
Yeah.
If he went and signed with another team, they would, and the Packers also have to not sign anybody in free agency. Then they would get a compensatory pick of some sort based on the money he gets in the free agency and all that kind of thing. Because it's you developed this guy and then you lost him in free agency, so then they give you a pick because you developed him from an undrafted free agent to a guy that was signed to a second contract or whatever. But the bottom line is this: if Yash is not in the future plans of the Green Bay Packers, it makes no sense to hang on to him if they can get something for him. Okay, if he signs with another team, he may not get a big deal. They might only get like a sixth round compensatory pick. So
right.
In that case, you're kind of crap shooting. You not know what you're getting. But if the Jets, who have a crappy offensive line, or some of these other teams that have crappy offensive lines, are offering a third round pick for Yash, next week before cutdown day, I mean, you take it, because I don't think he's in the future plans of the Green Bay Packers. Would it be nice to have him as depth? Yes. And that's what David's talking about. He wants that depth. It's like, why don't we keep these guys? We don't want to give the Jets this good offensive line. Keep our depth. The reason why is because if he's not part of the future, and you're guaranteed if it's a third round pick they're willing to give you for Yash, who is an undrafted free agent that you developed into something, that's worth it to you. Yeah. That's worth it to the Packers, especially if they consider that Yash will not be a Packer next year. And I think he will not be a Packer next year because they can't afford to give him that money, especially when they have Rasheed Walker on a 7th round pick rookie contract and Zach Tom on a 4th round pick rookie contract. Even if Bakhtiari is gone next year, you got two starters there on rookie contracts, and with still 3 and 4 years left. There are 2 more years, even starting with next year, they have 2 more years. And that's why there's talk about it, and why Andy Herman brings it up is because it's a smart move, because of the depth the Packers have, to use that depth with Yash to get picks when you know you're not going to keep him next year. You're going to let him walk. So take what you know you can get now. But the bad part, of course, the other hand of that is now you don't have that sure depth swing tackle that you know you can trust if Bakhtiari gets hurt and Myers stinks and you got to put Zach Tom at center. Now you don't have Yash there to back up anybody, and you only got Rasheed Walker, right? Then you're in trouble. Then you got Luke Tenuta and Caleb Jones and all these guys, and you don't know what you really have. Where at least with Yash, you know what you have. He's a solid starting tackle in the NFL, right? He's a top 64 tackle in the NFL. And that's worth something, which is why somebody may want to trade for him. So that's the downfall, is David Bakhtiari's health issues and that sort of thing. But also, if you're not going to keep him next year, it's worth doing, David. That's why a lot of people are talking about it.
So one thing I just want to say is the reason you want to keep your depth, the only reason you are concerned about keeping your depth is because of Bakhtiari's situation, right? Because we can't trust that Bakhtiari is going to be healthy. So what I'm really hearing you say, you said a lot of words there, but what I really heard you say is, Brian Gutekunst, take it back. Take it back and trade David Bakhtiari. Don't say we're not trading David Bakhtiari, because just trade David Bakhtiari and then you're all good, right? That's what should happen.
If they trade Bakhtiari, Jason Wilde will go insane with his whole Goody is trying to tank the team that he's still talking about, by the way. He's talked about it Monday, and he played the soundbite that we talked about last Friday on the show Monday, talking about how Goody said that, we weren't good enough last year and blah, blah, blah. And Tauscher liked that part. He's like, hey. But Tauscher thought the thing that's really weird is Tauscher thought that Goody was shell-shocked by how bad the team was last year, how he wasn't expecting them to be that bad, and that's why he is doing this whole thing where he doesn't trust the old guys anymore and he's moving on. That's not it. That's not the reason why he's doing it. The reason why he's doing it is because he wanted to do this 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And with Rodgers doing the summer of discontent, he had to trade for Randall Cobb. He had to bring back everybody for Rodgers. He had to keep bringing back the old guys, restructuring, bringing back, restructuring, bringing back, and trying to run it back with Rodgers guys, because that's the only way Rodgers knew how to play, is to play with the Rodgers guys. But Goody wanted to move on from 2020 when he drafted Jordan Love. And he knew it back then. He knew that within 1 or 2 years, he wanted to move on. And that's the biggest difference. It's not that he was shell-shocked that they were bad last year. he knew that. Well, he didn't know they were going to be bad, but he was like, he wasn't surprised. And the reason why they weren't good enough last year was because, like I said, they started this whole rebuild kind of half-assed last year by bringing in the young skill players and still keeping the old cruddy skill players and not doing enough to like change it all around. And then the defense played like dog crap, and that just screwed everything up. And then Rodgers, of course, played like crap. And then there you go.
And then your quarterback that was paid the most in the league was like 26th ranked in the league.
Yeah.
That's the biggest reason that you
and that's what he said in his interview was, we weren't good enough last year and we're trying to get better. And to get better, you take more talent and give them playing time and experience, which leads to
improvement.
Where the guys that they let go, we talked about it last week. The guys that let go last week,
just like you said, you know what they are.
They're not good.
It ain't gonna get any better than that because they are who they are. These young guys can get better. Was that a shot at Rodgers? Goody saying we weren't good enough last year? Was that a direct?
That's a shot at Rodgers. That's a shot at Lazard. That's a shot at Randall Cobb. That's a shot at all these guys. All the guys that are gone. That's a shot at all those guys. And it's interesting that they restructure Preston Smith. They restructure Aaron Jones. Right? Adrian Amos gone. Big Dog gone.
See ya.
All the guys, okay, if anybody who's watched this show long enough, every guy that we said wasn't holding up his own end of the bargain with his contract over the last couple of years we've talked about, they're all gone. Except for Preston. He's another one of the guys. He didn't hold up his end of the bargain, but he's still there because he's a good guy, I guess. But Aaron Jones, we got to keep him. He's awesome. So I don't know. What I'm saying is it's going to be interesting. I don't know what to do here. Like I said, I've only got 4 corners. That's not going to happen. They're going to have more corners than that.
You got
I've only got
Valentine in there.
3 safeties. That ain't going to happen.
3 safeties, I don't know what. That might be it. I mean, who's worth keeping as a safety?
None of them.
Except for Rudy. Rudy's the only one.
Rudy Ford is good. And Johnson Jr.'s got 4 years under him. So
right, and him just because he's so cheap, yeah.
And if you cut him and put him on the practice squad, then you no longer have that deal anymore. You have to come up with a new deal, and it's different. So you just might as well just keep him. Agreed. But anyway, so what I was saying is this. I think we should do a show after when the roster gets done, like Tuesday night. Or, I don't know I think I'll be here Tuesday night. I think I'm bringing Grant back up to the cities on Monday because he's got a test on Wednesday. So I'll be here Tuesday night if you want to do a show, or Wednesday or whatever, or we can just wait till Friday. I don't know, whatever. But when we see what the makeup of the team is, like if we let Hollins and Wilson go and keep younger guys who, aren't really that great, or they have a lot of upside, but they aren't as good as those 2 players are at this point, then we know Goody's in the tanker, right? He's rebuilding for sure.
Come on.
But if they've seen enough, I think it's going to be interesting. If they've seen enough in this preseason and practice to see, hey, you know what? We got a chance to make the playoffs here. We're halfway decent. And they do, yes. Then you have to keep Wilson, and you have to keep Hollins, and you have to keep, guys like that on the team who are solid veterans like, DeGuara and Amari Toure over Wicks and DeBose. Because they're more solid. Because those are the guys who their play is better than the players that are younger that are underneath them. You know what I'm saying? Hollins at outside linebacker. I would trust Hollins at outside linebacker over Brenton Cox and all these 100%. Other and Banks and all these other guys, because he knows what he's doing. He can play on special teams. He can come in there and press and do stuff. And plus, Rashawn Gary might not be ready to play right away. I mean, he might be able to play like 5 snaps a game in pass rush situations. That's about it right away. So you need to have Preston and Igbare, Van Ness, and Hollins, I think, at that point. And then Walker, Campbell, McDuffie, and Wilson, because Campbell hasn't practiced in weeks, so who knows if he's ready to go. I mean, they seem to say he's going to be ready by week 1. But if he's not, I would rather have Wilson there just in case Walker or McDuffie get knocked out or something in a game. I mean, you're going to put Tariq Carpenter out there?
No, he was terrible on defense. Terrible.
So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if if Goody keeps like the guys like Hollins and Wilson and Rudy Ford and guys like that, Tavarius Moore, I guess,
Mm,
then you're building, you're making your special teams better, and you're making your depth solid. Where if somebody gets hurt, these guys are coming in, they're going to play well. But if they get rid of those type of guys and keep younger guys like Brenton Cox and Wicks or DuBose or something like that, then they're going upside, playing upside, and they're not even, they're not worried about the consistency, and they're just like, hey, we're gonna get these guys ready to go. But it's interesting. I don't know. I think the receivers are all good. I think Wicks is good. I think DuBose is good. I think Bo Melton's good. I think all these guys are good. But you can't keep 25,000 receivers.
No, but with the receivers, I do think, okay, let's just look at the receivers. I thought that was going to be an interesting one. So, clearly Watson and Dobbs, they love, and Reed is like doing really well. So those guys are all 100%. Then Malik Heath is on the team.
Malik Heath is number 4 receiver in my opinion.
Should be the 4th receiver, 100%. Then you got these guys that I don't think I think Samori Toure is out, because I think they love Wicks. I think they want DuBose to be something, and those guys could both already be more dynamic than Samori Toure. Look, they gave Toure an opportunity to return punts last week. He couldn't do it. He's kind of boring. There's nothing there. Plus, you're already going to have Keyshawn Nixon already doing that. He's like the third guy behind Nixon, or second guy behind Nixon on that. So
Reed will be returning punts.
What is his value? It's not there.
His value is
he's not a good tackler. He's not a good gunner. He's not like it's nothing, man.
He knows the system, and he can play any wide receiver position. So if somebody gets knocked out, he can come in and play. He can play the slot. He can play outside. He can play inside. He can do all the things. He can if Watson gets hurt, he can come in and play Watson's spot. He's not as fast, but he's close. If Dobbs gets hurt, he can come in and be almost as a possession receiver with pretty good route running ability. He's there. If Heath gets hurt, he can come out and at least get in the way of somebody and try to block once in a while. And if Reed gets hurt, he's got a little bit of juke moves about him. He was considered to be possibly the starter in the slot before they drafted Reed, and Reed obviously has taken over that spot, and he's a much better player. But Toure has the ability to play any wide receiver backup spot. He is your, Zach Tom type guy. Not as good, but he's able to do anything, which makes him more valuable than Wicks and DuBose and Bo Melton, because Bo Melton's fast and he's small. He's a one-trick pony.
Mm-hmm.
Wicks and DuBose, I haven't seen enough about them to even know what the hell what they're good at.
Yeah, but the Packers have seen more, because they've seen them practice.
Yes,
and they also scouted them and drafted them and all that.
But they've also talked up Samori Toure like you wouldn't believe. Now, there was a
time
last year or 2 years ago they talked up that Ben Braden or whatever and how good he was, and then he didn't even make the team at tackle. They starting at tackle for a while, and they didn't even make the team. So I know they do that. I'm not saying they don't. But if it was me, I would keep Toure, because he is valuable, because he knows the offense. He knows any wide receiver position, and if anybody gets knocked out, he can come in and play. And I trust him over the other guys.
All right. Well, maybe I agree with you on that. Maybe I don't. I will say, I don't know, man. I just think I got a feeling Toure's out, and I also got a feeling Wicks and DuBose are in. They keep 6 wide receivers, and that's what they do. But we'll see how it all shakes out.
Well, they might
know more after that. And in terms of safeties, I don't know. Do they like Benny Sapp? Is he
too slow?
All right. Well, then never mind. But I also agree. I think they're keeping 6 D linemen, like you said. I think they should, and I hope they do.
Which is crazy, because last year they only had 4.
I know, but they've already shown that they want to play more 3-man fronts this year, because they have guys that that can play on the the 3 technique, or that outside big guy that can do some stuff. I mean, that can move. They're not just big, slow guys. So
they actually did keep 6 last year, when you think about it.
Did they? Oh.
Well, they had Clark, T.J. Slayton, Devontae Wyatt, Lowry,
Oh yeah.
Reed,
That's right.
and Jonathan Ford, who never suited up. But that was 6 guys that were on the active roster all year long.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't believe they kept all those offensive linemen and all those D linemen last year.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was a lot. But they only, they trim it. They keep it trim with like quarterbacks, and they keep it trim with running backs. And then they have a DeGuara who could play tight end, but then plays, the H-back stuff a lot. That's why it's crazy to think you're going to cut DeGuara, because in a pinch he could line him up at tight end.
He knows too much. He knows too much,
and he knows all the plays. He knows the system.
He's fine. He's not getting cut.
Not.
I don't know what Andy Herman's talking about.
I do think
DeGuara, Toure, they're both making it.
Yash could be out. I don't think they'll cut him straight up unless they want to save the money. But
no, they won't cut him. It'll be a trade if anything.
All right.
If they can't get a trade, he'll make the team because he's too valuable as a swing tackle backup guy.
Damn. Well, then it's all done already, guys. It's all over. You don't have to worry about it. So are you saying that it doesn't matter what happens in this last preseason game? It's already set?
No,
it
doesn't matter. It never has.
It's
never mattered. No.
Since I think Joe Callahan won a spot because of he won it like through his preseason. But remember Mike McCarthy coming in there and they put Joe Callahan on the team for a third quarterback when they didn't need him and never intended to play him. And he's like, you saw it. You saw him out there. How does that guy not make your team? How does that guy not make your roster? I'll tell you how. Because you don't need him and you don't intend to ever play him. So why the hell is he on your roster taking up a spot? It's the same thing with Yash. At this point, if he's your 4th or 5th tackle and you don't ever intend to play him, why is he going to be on your roster?
He's the 4th tackle right now.
So why is it going to be? You don't intend to play him ever. You hope never to play him is basically what you're saying. You're saying we want these guys starting. We want Rasheed Walker to be the guy in who's next if Bakhtiari's got problems. We hope to never play him. He doesn't need to be on your roster. One last thing before you jump on that is this. Everybody now, Ben, loves Zach Tom. Zach Tom is so great. Zach Tom's the man. Zach Tom's awesome. What week was it where we were saying Zach Tom's awesome already? Last year?
Week 2. Week 3, I don't know, whatever team, whenever he came in and looked good, and we were like, wait a minute, this is way better than Hansen and stupid freaking, what's his face? Royce Newman.
People mentioned, Zach Tom played last year, but we gave him, he was our silent but deadly player of the week like 5 times.
A bunch of times. Yeah, him and DeGuara. I know. We had a lot of, listen, we see a lot of things people don't see. We knew Rudy Ford was good before. We knew Keisha Nixon was good before anybody said anything. We knew Rasul Douglas was good before anybody said anything.
That's true.
I've been talking about Aaron Jones since he was a rookie. And actually, a lot of Packer fans knew that. Just Mike McCarthy didn't. So, whatever. He's an idiot.
Mike McCarthy.
So, I'm excited to see the games but Malik Heath is the new Rudy Ford, Rasul Douglas, Zach Tom guy this year. Like, he needs to be on the team and he needs to be on the field, period. He's too good. He's just a player. He's a Micah Hyde type player. He's a guy who he just makes things happen, period. And I like him and Jaden Reed way better than Romeo Doubs. And people are going to be like, what? And I'm like, yes. Because Romeo Doubs doesn't come back for the ball. These guys come back and contest bad passes. And guess what? Jordan Love might have a couple bad passes in him this year. And we're going to need young guys to go in there and just mess that crap up. Like, you know what I mean? But Romeo Doubs.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson aren't agile enough to come back for the ball. They don't do it.
Not that Doubs
Heath isn't really either.
No, but he made some plays. But I wish he was a little bit
tougher,
stronger. Yeah, stronger and more aggressive and just like. Because he kind of, he kind of gets shoved around a little bit. He doesn't go up really strong after the ball.
Even on that play, that 50-yard pass.
Yeah, the sideline one, he
had that guy beat. He had that guy beat, and then the ball was underthrown, and then because
of that, should have walled him off.
The corner pushed him. Yeah, the corner pretty much pushed him out of bounds, almost. Well, he did, but somehow he got They call it from the immediately when the ball touched his hand. They called him in because that's when he dragged that first toe in.
Pretty lucky.
If he bobbled that ball at all, that wouldn't be a catch. Just ask Des Bryant. So, I don't know if that was a great play or not. But what I'm saying is, when you get on top of a guy, first of all, Jordan Love should have threw it farther and should have threw it more like down the line. If you watch JT O'Sullivan, he did a video of quarterback school. Yep, he's a good job. He talked about the red line in practice and how you got to throw it down the red line. And Romeo did a good job. He had the guy beat. He was on top of him. If that ball would have been thrown further downfield, about 4 yards in from the end zone or from the end line, that would have been maybe a touchdown. You know what I mean? If he would have caught it, he could have maybe broke the tackle and kept going. But because it was a little bit underthrown and a little bit thrown too far to the outside, Romeo Doubs kind of got shoved a little bit. Now, if that would have been Christian Watson would have fought through the shove and then caught it and then maybe would have broke the tackle and kept going. But Romeo Doubs got thrown out of bounds. Because we've seen Christian Watson do that, where he catches it and the guy hanging all over him and he just kind of keeps going.
Yeah,
we also seen him drop it and not catch it, so it's nothing new.
It happens. It happens.
So, anyways, the 53-man roster, it's not scientific. We're not being perfect here, but it's just it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But
here's our guy. Here he is. Ready?
Here he is.
Third down, so I was trying to make sure that I got the first down and everything.
What did Coach LaFleur say to the team after the game?
Like Bill. I guess he said Bill didn't want to finish the game because it's his guy. You feel me? I know him, so like I ain't want to finish. Like I feel bad too, so like it was a good thing we didn't finish his.
All right, so you can kind of understand some of what he says, but not too much. That's Malik Heath, everybody. He's not. He's got a heavy accent, but he plays football and he's awesome. Last thing, Ben, before I let you go, is David is wondering what our starting defensive line is, but I don't know what that means. I mean, I don't know. Devontae Wyatt can't even stay on the field, so does he start and then come out right away, or what? Is it like that old thing where you start him and then he's off within a couple of plays?
I don't know, because he starts sucking wind so fast. I don't want him out there. What if it's a screw up by somebody and all of a sudden the drive goes pretty long and they go into up tempo and he's out there sucking wind and playing like crap?
That's true.
Might as well have two Kenny Clarks out there then. Oh, my starting D-line, David, would consist of TJ Slayton, Colby Wooden, and Brooks. That would be my starting D-line.
Holy
And you can bring Wyatt off the bench every now and again to like pass rush because he'll be good for like one play before he sucks wind. And then Kenny Clark can only come in goal line because then his slowness doesn't matter because he doesn't really have to go that far.
Veteran presence, Kenny Clark.
I don't know why I hate Kenny Clark so much. I don't even hate him. I love him. He's an awesome guy. But
Brandy doesn't even come on our show anymore because we put down Kenny Clark so many times. Well, he actually just told the truth about him. I'm pretty sure she loved Kenny Clark. I think she got tired of you and your Kenny Clark bashing.
I know. And she only came on because David told her to come on.
I know.
Thanks, David, for spreading the word.
That's all right.
I'm sorry, Brandy. I know you're a Cheesehead TV lady. You're always on there talking. But Kenny Clark, I just see the truth, man. He's slow. He beats this guy and then does nothing. What good is that? What good is that? It's not good. It doesn't help you. It's like getting open and dropping the pass. Kenny Clark is always getting open and dropping the pass.
Oh,
except it's on defense. He beats this guy and then does nothing.
It's interesting. I thought this roster was deeper in spots, and it doesn't look like it is. So it looks like these decisions, most of them are pretty easy, right?
Well, it's easy, but it's also hard because there's so many mediocre crap dogs at some spots, and you don't even have starters like safety.
Well, in corner, like you do not need to keep Shamar Jean-Charles.
No, I don't have him. I don't have him making the team. I don't have him.
Right, but the Packers might do that. They might keep him on They might put him on the 53.
He's not worth it.
No,
I'd take Ennis Gaines over him because Ennis Gaines can play safety or corner, and just keep him. He's just as good as freaking Jamar Jean-Charles is, and a better special teams player.
Man,
so goodbye.
We're like a couple injuries away from some really sketchy spots. Now, as I look at this in this totality, I'm like, ay.
Yeah.
A couple of injuries, and we're in rough shape. So, and injuries happen, as David pointed out. So the Packers better figure out some stuff.
and be checking the waiver. That's the other wild card, right? You never know who else gets cut or whatever, and they might.
And a lot of
make
people
some
are
other moves.
They're saying stuff like that about tight end, and I don't know. I like
don't think
Austin
so.
Allen. I like him.
I like him too. Yeah, me too.
I would have him make the team if there's a spot there, because I think he'd be useful. I mean, tight ends are they're like linebackers. They're good special teams type bodies, right? They're bigger and they're faster. You know, so they're more valuable than defensive linemen. But the problem is, right now our depth is at defensive line, offensive line, pass rusher, and wide receiver. And none of those things are good special teams player. The only good special teams player out of all those,
JJ Enigbari.
JJ
He's
Enigbari,
down there making tackles again.
every time he's down there making tackles, because he does a pass rush move to get down there. He's awesome.
That's so
I told
crazy.
you that. Who's the guy who said that first? Me, because I noticed this stuff. And he did it again in week 2.
It's generally not your edge outside linebacker guy that's down making tackles. It's usually the smaller guys like safeties and corners and crap that can get down there easier and are faster.
Especially a 260-pound one.
JJ's the man. Damn.
And he's not even known for his speed.
I know.
He just must beat the crap. Like, the guy probably tries to get a block out of him, and he's just like, nope, swim move, bye. Because he's got 17 moves. He probably just does a new move. And, And I don't know why more pass rushers aren't used that way, especially on kickoff. Like, I understand punts, because punts are crazy.
Yeah.
But on kickoffs?
Yeah. Coverage units.
Use your pass rush. Like, Van Ness should be on that. He should be playing on special.
I don't think so. I haven't seen him get by many people yet. I don't think his pass rush moves are too
He has
good.
no pass rush moves. You're right.
I could do without Lucas Van Ness on this 53-man roster. I'm just saying, but
well, he's the first round pick, so there's no.
That's me being honest, David. Is I could do without Lucas Van Ness because I don't see.
He needs to prove something pretty soon, because I don't
see any impact from the guy. Like, he looks nice. He looks pretty as he's tall and big and all this stuff and pretty fast, could jump high, his measurables, athletics. But I don't know. He's not making any impact. He's not beating second and third stringers. He's not beating them. Like, what the hell?
The thing that I don't like
is the 13th pick. 13th pick.
Yeah. My biggest issue with Goody is his outside linebacker drafting. He's drafting guys out of position and moving them to outside linebacker. He's drafting defensive ends and then moving to outside linebacker. Yeah, and they're one-dimensional because they can't cover. It's not like Clay Matthews, who he might actually go out and cover a guy, a tight end or a running back, because he's quick and fast. He was 245 pounds, 250 pounds with speed and agility. And he didn't hold up against the run sometimes, but...
Did that start with Goody? I'm sorry to interrupt, but did that start with him?
Nick
was
Perry.
That kind of around the change?
Nick Perry was a defensive end.
Was the first
who
one that was
they drafted in the first
garbagey.
round to be, pass rusher guy and outside linebacker, but he was terrible.
Yeah.
And you should have known then when Ted Thompson did it. And yet here we are still doing the same thing. And like Preston, everybody's like, oh, he's so good in coverage. No, he's not. He just stands there and lets the receiver run right past it. He's terrible. He's not good in coverage. Watch him in coverage and then go watch Quay Walker in coverage, and you'll see what it looks like when somebody's actually good in coverage and when somebody's terrible.
Or even watch TJ Watt. When he drops back, he
TJ Watt's amazing. We know that.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, like, dudes, there are still guys that can play the outside spot, technically outside linebacker or edge, as we got to call him now, who can play that, but then also are good enough athletes and fast enough to do something in coverage if you want to drop them off and not have them rush. But the Packers have none of those guys because they don't draft those guys anymore. They're like, we just draft the bigger guys. Okay. All right. But Lucas Van Ness does nothing. I see no impact. I want to see impact from a number 13 pick. I'm sorry. Like, what the hell? I mean, I didn't like the draft pick when we took him. And I tried to give him some, and people will be like, well, he's young, let him develop. Same thing with Gary. Look at what Rashawn Gary did as a rookie. I hear all that stuff already. Well, okay. But has Rashawn Gary been a superstar in the league even once? No. Does everybody talk about him like he was? Yep. I don't know why. Because he had like 9.5 sacks 1 year. That probably wasn't even top half of the league. Maybe it's top half, but it was half as many as the top guy. So that's not top guy in the league or top 5 in the league. Rashawn Gary is a good guy, and I think he works hard, and I think he's pretty good. Do I think he's super awesome and deserves to be paid a bunch? No.
Do I think Lucas Van Ness deserved to be the 13th pick? No. Sorry.
It's a different philosophy that Goody has
Ugh.
than just about everybody else. Well, not everybody else, but I don't know. There's so many first round picks that he takes that have the potential to be stars, but not necessarily ever become that. We don't know. Jordan Love, it's been 3 years. He could be a star. That'd be a great one, right? Jair was a first round pick. People think he's a star. I think he's better than average or somewhat good, but he can't tackle and doesn't want to get in the middle of stuff. But everybody thinks he's great. And you got everybody else. Savage, Gary, took him years to get on the field. I mean, last year, at least Quay Walker got out there and played right away. Thank God. There's something that he actually drafted a guy to play right away. But usually he drafts guys that are going to be there to play in the future. And other teams draft impact players in the first round to play right away and just make plays. And there are some teams who draft guys and then trade them away for 7th round picks, like the Cardinals, like Isaiah Simmons.
That's true. Yeah.
And Josh Jones. They're two of their top picks in the draft a couple of years back that they just gave up on this year, and they really want to tank and get the number 1 pick next year, apparently. So they're trading everybody away for peanuts. And, that's called tanking. But I guess that's okay. No one's saying nothing about it, I guess. Well, everybody's saying about it, but like the commissioner and nobody's like, and that's definitely tanking. You're trading away your first and second round pick from 2 years ago. Or 3 years ago, whenever it was. I can't remember exactly when Isaiah Simmons was drafted, but I remember he was the guy
he was just 2 years ago.
And I remember Josh Jones was the guy I was looking at for the Packers draft later on in the first round that year.
Right.
And I was like, because I liked him. I thought he was a good move. I mean, at least for something, for a tackle. Because at that time, we had Yash, and that was it. And we were a little concerned.
Right. And then we just got a bunch of tackles. Now we don't have any.
Because that was the year when Balaga moved on and Corey Lindsey moved on. So we needed some guys. So he was one of the guys I was looking at. I would have rather had them take Landon Dickerson or Creed Humphrey or your guy. What's his
Say
face?
it.
I can't remember his name. What's his name again?
You don't remember his name? The gut? Quinn Miners?
Quinn Miners, yeah.
Quinn Miners? Come on, man.
He might get cut by the Broncos, and then we can pick him up.
Woo! We'll take him.
Then Royce is gone.
Cut him, Broncos. Cut him, you stupid Sean Payton. I'll take Quinn Miners in a second.
He might cut him.
He's probably not his kind of guy or his kind of lineman. He's too aggressive. He likes more passive linemen. Well, you can have him. I'll take a Quinn Miners, bulldoze you any day of the week. All right, David. Look, man, David, don't say that. You don't know if you'll never meet us. You might.
No, David.
We could meet you
us every week, man. We're here right now.
We appreciate you though, David, and hope you're doing okay. And glad. I don't know. Hopefully the heat broke a little bit by you. It broke here. It was pretty rough. Right. Not as rough as it was for you, but the whole country. Yuck.
I went to.
I don't even want to know.
I went to Valley Fair on Tuesday.
Was it hot Tuesday?
It was 100 degrees.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Over here in Minnesota, it was 100 degrees.
Sure, because you're a little further west. It hadn't gotten by us yet until
Wednesday.
Wednesday. That was dumb.
Bad.
Did you put sunscreen on your head? Your face?
I did. Can't you tell?
All your parts?
And I was outside all day long. And I got no burn.
Good job. SPF 70 works.
It's 55.
Okay.
But anyways, apparently I was not looking so good though. And it was only 93 at about like 1 o'clock. And Grant was like, dude, you look like you're going to die. And I'm like, we got to get out of here. So we went to Culver's and I ate something because I didn't eat anything yet. And then I drank a whole lot of Powerades.
Smart.
And then we went back and then it was like 100. But there's like a water pool part, like a water park part. So we just stayed at the water park. So I was in the lazy river. You know what I mean? I was in the wave pool. Yeah, are you kidding? 100 degrees? I just hung out in the pool the whole time. From from 2:45 until 6. That's all I did was hang out in the pool.
That's the only thing you do when it's that hot.
And then we went and rode roller coasters and crap for the last couple hours. And I was feeling a lot better after hanging out in the pool all day. But it was still like 98 degrees when we left. 98 degrees.
Damn.
But I was
Yeah,
fine
it was-
then. I don't know why I was so bad in the morning at 93. I was like, Grant said I looked white and I was sweating. I hate to say it, but I also had a little bit of a heavy arm over here, kind of like, like Dad
What?
had.
Stop
Yeah,
that.
it happened. I was like,
Stop
whoa,
that. It's getting
I
in
need,
here.
to, I need to drink some water.
Drinking water smart. Well, I went golfing yesterday for a work thing, and it was
What the heck?
super hot and insane. That was the second hottest golfing I've ever had to do, and it was sucked. I mean, it was
How would
okay.
you-
It was okay golfing, but we had to. But it was. I think they were like, "We're doing it." People in Wisconsin, they don't care. Excessive heat warning. Yeah, let's go golf all day and stand outside. So we did it, and it was super hot. I just drank pounded a bunch of water, a bunch of Gatorades, and I survived. But even after all of that, I still was wiped out. Wiped out. Stay away from that heat. It sucks. David, you're 65.
That's all right, David.
I have no money. Don't worry about it.
David,
man.
I'm almost 49 and have no money, so we're there. I'm with you.
I got you. Don't sweat it. Well, you know what? We'll connect through Packers anytime we can. Last question. David wonders how many. David, you know what? I'm going to turn you around on this. Anders Carlson, I believe in him. He's going to do it. He's going to turn it around, guys, and start making kicks. Don't you worry about it. He's going to be the next great Packer kicker. And one day, he will be the all-time leading scorer for the Green Bay Packers. Anders Carlson. Put it in the bank.
Okay. I think you're crazy. But we got a game tomorrow. I think it's at noon, right? Or something weird like that.
Is that a noon one? For real?
I don't know. I'm gonna look. I'll look. At my
Oh, Messerschmitt. Messerschmitt showed up. They should keep loving Jones. Thanks, Messerschmitt. We got those
That's
two
true. They
already.
will
Yeah,
keep
we
loving
got-
Jones. I agree with that. Thank you.
We got those. We got those two. And they got plenty of
well-
other guys they should keep too. But
12 p.m.
who would the Vikings keep? Is there anybody worth keeping on your team? Answer that question if you can.
Oh wait, is it 12 p.m.?
Hawaiian time, Pacific Islander time.
Isn't it in Seattle? It must be 12 p.m. Seattle,
Oh, okay.
right?
It's that early? No. Somebody's going to Green Bay tomorrow for the game, I thought they said.
Oh, it's in Green Bay.
I don't know. Let's ask
I don't
Malik
know.
Heath. Let's see what he says.
I don't think
I'll
he
look it
knows.
up. No, he doesn't know. He's focused on his job, crushing that
well.
player,
Whatever.
crushing that Viking in front of him. Whenever we get, to
I'm gonna
it.
leave work at noon tomorrow, anyways. So
Malik Heath. I can't wait to
I
see
can
him play. I can't wait to
watch
see
the game
him
at
be
noon. Watch the game at 3.
Think about that, Ben. Malik Heath is all those things you said. Better than Alan Lazard, faster than Alan Lazard, stronger than Alan Lazard. Not
He may
quite
not
as
be
tall,
faster,
but
but he seems faster.
doesn't fall on his face like Alan Lazard, and
That's true.
he's not getting paid $11 million like Alan Lazard
Oh, Mom says it's in Green Bay.
in Green Bay.
Well, it
All
must
right.
be a noon game then.
Really? For real? I didn't realize that. I wasn't paying that close attention. Anyway,
good.
final cuts are Tuesday. We'll find out what the Packers do. We'll find out what the other NFC teams do, especially the NFC Northers or
The
Centrals or
Vikings are going to
Northers.
trade for Trey Lance.
Oh,
They're gonna give
Vikings.
the 49ers a popsicle for Trey Lance.
They should have drafted Trey Lance in the first place.
Well, no, because the 49ers traded away 3 first-round picks and a third-round pick to get Trey Lance, and now they're going to trade him for a popsicle. Those idiots. That's why, as much as the 49ers have killed the Packers in the Rodgers era, how many times he lost to them in the playoffs, it's still, I just laugh my ass off every time I think of how they traded up, and they had no idea who they were going to trade, who they were going to draft when they traded up to number 3 that year. Remember?
Yeah. That
And
was the
everybody
year
was
they were
like-
supposed to get Rodgers, right?
Well, they were
In the
talking
trade?
to. No.
Oh, no, that was the year
Yeah. That was the one where they. Well, he called. Shanahan called LaFleur and said, "Oh, is Rodgers available and stuff?" But that was after he already traded away the first three first round picks. Like, why would you don't have anything
Oh,
left?
really? Oh,
Yeah,
dumb.
it was dumb. It was dumb. But anyways, that was the Zach Wilson number 2, Trey Lance number 3,
Damn.
Mac Jones at 15 to the Patriots. Not a great quarterback draft, because the year before that was Joe Burrow, Tua, my guy Justin Herbert,
Herbert.
Jordan Love,
Jordan Love, J Love.
Jalen Hurts. Like, that was those 5 quarterbacks the year before in 2020, and then all of a sudden in 2021 it was like Zach Wilson, Trey Lance,
Zach Wilson.
Mac Jones. Talk about a stinky quarterback class compared to the year before.
Hey, guess who's on the Bergstrom signs heading up to Green Bay now on Highway 41? It used to be all Aaron Rodgers signs. Then, of course, Aaron Rodgers went away.
Yeah.
And then last year it was like Bergstrom employees. And now there's some Bergstrom employees, but then they brought some Packers back. They got one Matt LaFleur and they got one J Love. And he signed it J Hart number 10. He didn't even write his name out. J Hart number 10. That might be his official signature for like paraphernalia and whatnot.
Well, apparently when it was 100 million degrees in their last open practice to the public, Jordan Love stayed and signed autographs for a long time in the heat.
Yeah, I know.
So that's a good start to be a good guy.
Heck yeah.
But now, you know what? If you don't play good on the field, people will turn on your ass in a second. So,
well, just listen to everybody, all the national
playing
media.
good.
He's going to be a rock star. He's going to be the next big star.
He'll be something in the middle. People need to cool their jets. Cool the jets. One more thing about the Jets. Randall Cobb came out and said that if the Jets receivers don't start picking up their crap, Rodgers ain't going to throw in the ball. And then the very next day, one of the Jets receivers retired because he's sick of his shit. Everything is not all perfect in little Jets land. Aaron Rodgers is pretending like it's perfect, and he's talking like it's perfect, but I don't know. The seeds are planted. We are going to have a new defensive coordinator next year, and his name is Robert Saleh, because the Jets are going to fall apart, and Rodgers is going to blame everybody. And for some unknown reason, people are still going to believe him. I don't know why.
How's Billy Turner going to block for him here coming up?
He likes Billy Turner.
Goldie gets his Billy Turner. Oh, God. It's so weird, some of the offensive linemen that he went to bat for and just loved. It was like,
I know.
Why do you love Billy Turner so much? Why do you love Brian Bulaga so much?
You watch the film? The guy is terrible.
It's just so weird. David, I hope you get to see a game in Lambeau Field. You're 65. Come on, man. Make it a bucket list item. Go check it out.
I've seen one game.
The only thing I'll say is, since you're from Mississippi, you probably don't want to go to a late season game because it's cold. It can be cold.
And it's cold. I've been to 2 games. One with Uncle Mike, long time ago. And one with Dad in 2010 when the Packers won the Super Bowl.
You went with me. We went to that opening season.
We didn't go to the game.
Against the Rams.
Yes,
we sat in the end zone.
No, I didn't go with you to any games. That was you and Mom.
No, that was you and me.
No, I never went to a Packer game with you ever.
Come on, that's not
I never
true.
went to a Packer game with you. We went
you
to
and I set our asses
game.
down. It was against the Rams. It was the first game of that season.
No.
Then why did Mom look like you that day? Because it was you.
She looks like you. You look like Mom, not me. I look like Dad. So
I don't know what the hell.
That's why people think probably like, how are these guys brothers?
I swear.
One of them's got perfect chia pet hair and he has dark brown. He goes out in the sun, he turns brown. The other one is got receding hairline and he turns red. How could they possibly be brothers? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I look like Dad and Jason looks like Mom. That's why. We're brothers, but we don't look alike. But even though people would always be like, you guys are look alike. You're like.
And definitely brothers.
You guys are definitely brothers. I'm like, we don't look anything alike. And then they would say, I'm the light version of you. And I'm like, no. I came first. If anything, he's the dark version of me. I'm first. God dang chia pet head guy. With no hair on his legs somehow.
I need a haircut.
How do you have no hair on your legs? It doesn't make any sense.
I need a haircut.
You're weird. Here. Anyways, what was I saying? Okay, there's no way I was at the game. Last game I was at was with Dad. 2010. It was at the Bills game where Clay Matthews got like 3 sacks in the second half because they played like crap in the first half, and then Clay Matthews came out in the second half and went nuts and had 3 sacks, and it was awesome.
I want to say that was like 94 or something. You and I went.
Wow, 98. I don't remember that. If I ever went to a game,
you and I went to a goddamn game. We sat in the freaking.
It was preseason game. Yeah, maybe it was a preseason game.
It was like the first game of the year. I swear it was.
I'd remember if I went to a game with you because I'd be embarrassed.
I'm gonna go look. I'm gonna go look it up. I'm gonna look it up and find out. But I do know that I went to a game
I went to Mike Daniels' breakout game with Mom and Sarah.
Yeah, you went to
and
give
somebody.
Mom.
That was freaking awesome because Mike Daniels broke on the scene that game because nobody knew who the hell he was. And then he got in the game and started making plays and picked up a fumble and did some stuff. And they're like, who the hell is this number 76 running around? Mike Daniels, who's that? Well, he was a damn good Packer. That's who he was.
Yeah.
Mike D. Real-get. Right? Wasn't that his thing?
No, he
That was
didn't
a sack. That was his sack
yeah,
celebration.
but it was from something else. It was like from Naruto or some other thing. It wasn't from
Oh, okay.
It wasn't from Street Fighter.
Dang it. Mom says it was a preseason game. Why did it feel like a regular season game? Just
Because
did.
you thought everything felt like a regular season game. You didn't know any better.
It wasn't the Ice Bowl, David. But
My
Glad you
grandpa
got to
and my
watch that with
uncle
your
were at the
pops.
Ice Bowl.
what? Holy sh!
Yeah, Grandpa Family and Uncle Mike were at the Ice Bowl. That's what Mom said.
That's right. They were. We can never be at the Ice Bowl. We're too young. Anyway,
Too young.
I also heard that. Sarah's got to talk to us tonight. Means we better get off the show.
Yep.
I also heard that Raider Rick's water heater went out today. Raider Rick, I hope you get hot water soon again. Although I know sometimes he, on the side, plays a plumber. So maybe he already replaced it and got to figure it out. Who knows? Raider Rick. He's got skills. So I hope we get hot water back. Ben, be safe. Everybody else, enjoy your Packers. And we will find out who the hell they keep on the team. We just told you who they should keep. We'll see who they do keep. Probably keep some stinky guys that we don't want them to keep. They probably might get rid of some good guys that they should keep. But that's what they do because they're the Packers. And we don't get to be in charge. But you guys are in charge of your own happiness, just like us. So go Pack, go. And just say no to bad things that make you sad, like we do. Bye.
Yep.
Tell me why I beg you to come, just to hold